A lovely good morning to you, our viewers. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. We are here to bring you nothing but the best in what is happening in the community. Of course, being a Monday, and obviously when you watch this program, every time on Mondays and Tuesdays, we always look at the community aspects. In case you're watching us from Kanyama, Chiwolia, give us those, call us, tell us what is happening in your areas, as well as, what is trending in your areas. I'm your host, Miriam Kaimba, of course. As you can see, I am not alone in studio. I'm joined by my beautiful lady, Zipporah Mshara. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Miriam. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm trying.
As you can see, I've worn yellow for a bright day today, being a Monday, so that we can begin on a positive and energetic note.
Okay.
And what are we expecting today in our show, Miriam?
Okay, basically, Zipporah, we have a lot that we have lined up for our viewers, but I wouldn't want to, to say everything at once. I want them to stay glued to the TV. And yeah, so, but right about now, we'll just go direct into our morning boost. And then on the other side, we'll be able to explain what we have in store for our viewers this morning. But anyway, I should mention that at 7:30 to 8 hours, please, if you're from Kanyama, Chiwolia, John Leng, Misisi, all those compounds, please do give us your call and tell us what is happening in your community. We want to know the trending issues that our newsroom might be able to follow up on those issues. Yeah, so right about now, we'll go direct into our morning boost. Catch us on the other side.
Good morning, Camnet viewers, and welcome to Morning Boost. I'm so glad that you've tuned in. Let's do some simple basic workouts for you to stay fit and you go about your day. All right, so we'll start with a warm-up for a minute. Let's go. That's 1 minute warm-up to warm up your body. Relax your muscles. Let's bounce. Let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and how are you? It's good. So it's gonna be a 1 minute warm-up. Just a warm-up, let's go. Almost there. Okay, we're gonna run now. Let's go. So we're gonna work out for 3 minutes, and thereafter we'll do a cool down. We're cooling down. Let's go. See what I'm doing? That's the movement of my feet. That. I need that from you. Let's go. Let's run. Let's go. Very basic today. Keep going. And 4, 3, 2, march now. Okay, that was your first workout. Let's go to the next one. Kicks now. 1. Kick and let the blood circulate on your legs. Let's go. 3 minutes workout. After that, you do a cool down. Kick. Let's go. Kick. Bring it to the knee now. Knee high. Squeeze the tummy when you do that. Let's go. Squeeze here. Go. Squeeze here. That's the part I'm working on. Let's go. Easy. Back to running now. Let's go. You need this every morning. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Go. And kick now. Kick, side kick. This side. Back. This side. Kick. Go. Lift your leg high and kick. Go. 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 And that's all you need every morning. Let's conclude now. Let's go. And let's run. Let's run. Bring in the kick now. Kick. Kick. Again. Kick. Bring it to the knee now. Knee. Knee. Last kicks. This one. And this one. This one. Let's go. And marching. Very simple what you've done today. Looks like you have not done anything, and yet it's able to work out. Let's march. Let's go. You're almost there. It's almost 5 minutes of a workout. So thank you so much for tuning in. Basic workouts in there today, and have a blessed day. And I'm signing out. My name is Isaac Matsa.
So there you have it. That was your morning boost. I hope you're as energized as we are right now, Mimi. I hope you enjoyed your exercise.
Yes, Zipporah, I did, because early in the morning today I did not try to wake up. I did not try to wake up and exercise, but anyway, I did join Isaac, you know, the time he was doing that very lovely morning exercise for us. Yeah, I hope our viewers did enjoy that.
Okay, and right now we're just going to have our health segment next. And just a reminder to our viewers that our health segment is actually for sponsorship, and so we're going to be joined by Dr. Songiwe Chiluba, who's going to talk about sickle cell disease. And so today she's just going to define it and give us the epidemiology and the genesis of sickle cell anemia. So let's just have Dr. Chiluba join us here on set.
Hello, good morning. My name is Dr. Songiwe Chiluba. I'm from the Medical Women's Association of Zambia, and this week we're going to be discussing sickle cell disease. So sickle cell disease is an inherited condition that is relatively common in our setting. It's actually found in about 5% of the total world's population, and it's been found that approximately 300,000 babies are born with sickle cell every year, a majority of which are found in low-income countries such as our country, Zambia. Sickle cell is an inherited condition, and it results from inheritance of genes that are abnormal, and these genes code for hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein that is found within our red blood cells and is responsible for transportation of oxygen throughout the body. Okay? And what happens in sickle cell disease is that the hemoglobin that is produced in these patients is abnormal. Therefore, in certain conditions, such as in conditions where the oxygen in the atmosphere is low, leading to hypoxia or reduced oxygen supply in the blood, it leads to abnormal shape in the red blood cells. they take up the shape that is sickle shape. Okay? Hence the name being called sickle cell disease. Okay? So sickle cell disease, like I said, is relatively common, and it's mostly found in Africa as well as in the East Mediterranean region. It's also been associated with malaria. Some studies have shown that sickle cell developed in a bid to try and fight malaria, because it's seen that in patients that have the sickle cell trait, they tend to be more resistant to severe forms of malaria, but people that actually have sickle cell disease tend to have severe malaria. So in just the past few seconds, you've noted that I've used various terms, including sickle cell trait and sickle cell disease or sickle cell anemia. So sickle cell trait is a condition in which one individual has two genes. Okay, so these two genes are coding for the sickled hemoglobin, which is the abnormal hemoglobin found in sickle cell disease, as well as the normal hemoglobin. So in which case, these patients tend to have milder forms of the disease, hence attempt to have the sickle cell trait. Then there are those that have sickle cell anemia, in which case both the genes that are coding for the hemoglobin both have the mutation, which is the sickle cell mutation. And when they have this mutation, they have the condition which is called sickle cell anemia. And the third term is sickle cell disease, in which case the patient again will have two abnormal genes coding for hemoglobin, but in this case one of the genes is coding for sickle cell, okay, or the sickled hemoglobin, while the other gene will code for another form of abnormal hemoglobin. Okay? So of the two conditions, sickle cell anemia and sickle cell disease tends to be a bit more milder compared to sickle cell anemia, in which case both the mutations are of sickle cell. Okay? So sickle cell presents in various ways, but essentially it has triggers, okay, that will lead to the development of the signs and symptoms. Okay? So these triggers include things like reduced oxygen tension in the atmosphere, which would lead to hypoxia, or reduced oxygen in circulation. Other things include infections, which could be any form of infection. It could be a viral infection, a bacterial infection, and of course the third trigger is dehydration. Okay, so any dehydrated status could lead to symptoms of sickle cell. Remember, today we're discussing sickle cell disease, and it's a common inherited condition, and I'll see you on the next edition of this portion of the program.
So there you have it. That was Dr. Chiluba just explaining to us about sickle cell anemia. And of course, we know that it is an inherited disease. And so if someone has sickle cell anemia, just have to make sure that you actually get professional advice. And just now, we're going to have our next segment, which is the money market. And just like the health segment, a reminder to our viewers that you can actually sponsor the money market and get visibility for your brand. So let's just see how the US dollar is doing today in comparison to the kwacha. So the United States dollar is buying at 16 kwacha 82 ngwe, selling at 17 kwacha 15 ngwe. The euro is buying at 18 kwacha 89 ngwe, selling at 19 kwacha 22 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 20 kwacha 59 ngwe, selling at 20 kwacha 99 ngwe. And the South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha 5 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha and 7 ngwe. That is your money market for today. Miriam, your thoughts on the kwacha versus the US dollar?
I think it's trending quite good. You know, we have seen that for quite some time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I always say, we hope that we'll still go to a single digit as time goes by. But anyway, so far so good. We are in the right direction. Zipporah, I must say that, like promised, mm-hmm. the UPND administration, we are seeing some changes. Though we are not yet there, but a lot of things are being done to ensure that we get there. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And just now, Miriam yesterday did a very interesting story, actually, moving on to our next segment, which is zooming the headlines.
Yeah.
Yesterday's community stories that made headlines. And so, normally always discourage deforestation, but then we had a different story yesterday where we heard women saying banning the cutting down of trees were actually disadvantageous. So what were the issues that were actually the components of the story?
So basically, the women were saying, you know, these are people who have been doing this kind of business for their entire life. Others, they have been doing it for the past 14, 20 years. And, you know, they're saying, yes, we know government has is now discouraging the cutting down of trees, you know, for us to move from these means, you know, of doing things. But then, hey, this is how we survive. So if we do this, if this is completely implemented, our business will be affected. And, you know, us surviving, it will be very hard because this is how we feed our family and take our children to school. So, yeah, those were some of the complaints that they gave. But anyway, let's get to see that story and just to learn more about it. Charcoal production is the major driver of deforestation and forest degradation in Zambia. Increasing demands from urbanization and power cuts have in recent years led to a greater dependency on wood fuel to meet urban households' energy needs, largely at the expense of the country's forests and woodlands. Economic hardship and joblessness has forced many Zambians into illegal charcoal dealing, an act that threatens the country's forest. Charcoal trading is legal in Zambia, but the government requires wholesalers to obtain permits from the Forest Department that ensure the destruction of a limited number of trees. In order to combat climate change, government is discouraging the cutting down of trees, which has seen some chiefs concur and are now banning the cutting down of trees in their chiefdoms.
If we continue cutting those young trees, then at the end of the day, we'll have no tree completely. So I've even banned even those that are coming from other areas to come and get some poles from our chiefdom. Yeah. But the challenge that I'm facing also is the forest department officers. Even if I've banned fighting this climate change negative effects through banning of charcoal production activities. So when I called those people, I explained to say, don't give out the licenses to these people that are making charcoal.
However, some women in charcoal production feel the move to ban the cutting down of trees is negatively affecting their business as they depend on that for survival. Jacqueline Mulando and her colleague, both of Lusaka's Kanyama compound, have been in the charcoal business for 14 years and say they cannot manage to start up another business.
Nakuanisa 14 years. Sinapuzile sinaendepa ku school ni sivizivu. Mu business yange yamarasha yini puzisiramo bana. Ndiye mwene tidyela. Nkaba tufonse ndiye mwene ni drama zemeti malipira maningi zambiri maniki kuba forest ni zambiri. Tuko mene trosa marasha ize trosa ku Kafiwa National Park kuna Rusanga. Kizachita affect kairiko enda kwina ngumoti tandizira ndiye mweti zaso. Nale site depend mu kuchuba mitengo kushoka kupanga marasha.
Ero marasha bakayeresera atu ati apa kwa sira. Kwempekesa champe kufa kai kuri business ina ngwebele tinapuzira. Ni amarasha yamene. Ni momenti matesera abana umene baende maendera ku school manyumba tima yasongera mulando wa marasha. So marasha bakayalesi. Nishikuri.
Parliament passed the Forest Act of 2015 to provide a legal framework for managing forests, which covers 61% of the country. The most straightforward measures by policymakers was to restrict and ban charcoal production and use in order to protect the environment. Due to lack of energy alternatives, however, these policies have proved inadequate in curbing demand, driving production and trade to the informal sector. The production of charcoal requires burning wood, a danger to Zambia's already thinning forest. The World Bank estimated the country's forests were disappearing at a rate of 250,000 to 300,000 hectares each year. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News. A very quite interesting story there on climate change, a lot of components, you know, being tackled in one story. We're talking about climate change. We're talking about people who are complaining now, saying that if government discourage completely, implement completely the cutting down of trees, we will be suffering in terms of us surviving. And these were very, very good concerns that, you know, we should look upon to. Zipporah, I must say that if we have government fully implementing, saying that they're discouraging the cutting down of trees, these people who have been doing this kind of business for a very, very long time should be given some kind of empowerment, you know, to start up from somewhere, because you just can't say, no, we are doing this, and then you left them from nowhere to, you know, to start up. So it's quite a very, very interesting story that we need to follow up. Of course, not forgetting, talking about climate change. Exactly.
So that has been the issue, especially like in rural areas. The other time we had the Worldwide Fund for Nature, who actually saying most people, especially in rural areas, actually dependent on the charcoal business. Now, for example, if it's not raining, they can't farm. There's nothing really to do in these rural areas. So really, they have to actually be taught in some new forms of empowerment if we have to actually make this work. And of course, we have the Department of Forestry under the Ministry of Green Economy, but we're saying charcoal burning is illegal, but we see so many charcoal burners and nothing is done. No one goes to check, do they have permits and or not. So it looks like Zambia actually has a lot to do if we're to actually achieve a zero charcoal policy by 2030.
And you know, some of the concerns from the chiefs in some chiefdom is that these people from the forest department, Zipporah, are issuing out illegal permits to other people. They might say, no, don't issue out these permits, but they'll still go ahead and, you know, do that. And this is a very sad scenario that we must say. But anyway, we hope that the policies that government is putting in place are being implemented so that we can see a change and help our country and combat climate change in the country. Yeah.
Definitely. And talking about the community, we have another story on Constituency Development Fund amendment. As you are aware, we have the Constituency Development Fund, but no one has been able to access this money due to so many bureaucratic procedures involved. And so on Wednesday, we actually saw members of Parliament moving a motion in Parliament to see the guidelines loosened. But then we have that's GEAR's Initiative Director, Mr. McDonough Chipenzi, saying that the motion to actually loosen CDF guidelines was misplaced. First of all, we saw that it failed because most voted against it. So I said it was misplaced because the amendment can be done even, the amendment of the guidelines can be done even by the Ministry of Local Government. So he said what they should have actually done is to move a motion to actually amend the whole act, the CDF Act itself, to ensure that it is simplified. So let us take a look at that story and be back to discuss in detail. The increase in the Constituency Development Fund, CDA, from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha under the current administration raised hopes among citizens as they were told to form cooperatives and apply for school bursaries if to benefit from their funds. The decentralization of CDF is also expected to create grassroots development, which will see the country transforming into a prosperous middle-income status in 8 years' time. While the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development in March announced the release of 805 million for the first quarter of 2022, the funds still sit idle in council coffers due to bureaucratic procedures. This has raised concerns, especially in the case of school bursaries, where various institutions, most of them which are already open, will need to be paid. Members of Parliament on 15th June 2022 moved a motion in Parliament to loosen guidelines on CDF, a motion which failed as majority of MPs voted against it. In an interview, Governance, Elections, Advocacy, Research Services GEAR's Executive Director, Mr. McDonough Chipenzi, says what needs to be amended is not CDF guidelines, but the CDF Act itself.
At this point in time, we don't really need guidelines, amendment of guidelines, which I think can be done by the ministry without taking such an issue to Parliament. What we expected was that the members of Parliament would have pushed for a motion to amend the CDF Act, because that is the blockade to the to the efficiency implementation and disbursement of CDF funds in this country.
He further says the amendment of the Act should also see the control of projects being decentralized, as they are currently controlled by the ministry.
Unlike now, where even the utilization of the funds starts in May or June, somewhere there, and not in January, and yet the budget cycle starts from January to December. These are the things that we expected our MPs to push, and not the guidelines. Those can be done outside the law. You don't need you don't need the parliament to resolve on that issue. You just need a stakeholders meeting, resolve those issues out of what we have experienced so far, and then make the guidelines better.
It is hoped that CDF will be made easily accessible to see it serve its purpose. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
There you have it. That was one of the stories done by our reporter Zipporah Mshala, just explaining on the CDF guidelines. You know, there have been a lot of myths, a lot of misinformation. Zipporah must say, you know, people are saying, no, we don't understand this. There's need for more sensitization on the CDF. There's need for more. There's need for amendment, actually. And we did see last week Friday, not forgetting. I think it was Thursday. Wednesday, when Chama, Central Member of Parliament, moved a motion to amend the guidelines. But anyway, we saw later on it was rejected because a lot of area members of Parliament voted against that. But anyway, you did the story.
And on Friday, actually, we saw the Patriotic Front, or opposition MPs, as they call themselves. Mostly, it's a press briefing viewed by PFA.
Yeah.
So basically, they were saying it's unfortunate that most UPND MPs voted against the motion to loosen the guidelines when they're claiming that they actually want the CDF to help people. So that was the contention there. So the other concern is that this is now June. We have a CDF for the first quarter, 805 million. It was released in March. It has not yet been used. So they're concerned, really, this is where different stakeholders have been coming in, questioning whether the money is available. But of course, you have heard from government that the money is available, and so now the way forward, as you have heard from Mr. Chipenzi, is that the CDF Act must be amended so that everything is simple and straightforward to allow to prevent issues such as lagging behind in various projects.
Okay, so right about now, in case you have just joined us, you're watching the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Of course, on a Monday, we always look at the community aspect. And right about now, we are opening our phone lines in case you have that trending issue happening in your community. Are you watching us from Chawama, from Mississippi Compound, from John Lang? Wherever you're watching us, please do call us in and give us, of course, what is trending in your community and something that you would want your area members of parliament, your councillors to follow up and address those issues. So, Zipporah, I don't know what stories that we have for our viewers that we have lined up next, just to get the show going.
Okay, so yesterday we saw a story actually done by Prudence Trotter on the Drug Enforcement Commission. And so I don't know if it's because of maybe increased levels of poverty in Zambia. We've seen even young women actually getting involved in the same. And so people think this is a quick way of getting money. And this is actually something that is new in our country. It wasn't like this a long time ago.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
So it was really surprising thing. I don't even know why people get those drugs. I don't even know why they get it. And so really, Miriam, you've seen why stakeholders have been saying if you bring the Marijuana Act and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
It will actually bring abuse of...
it will definitely do that.
Unless there's like proper control to ensure that it's just for medicinal purposes or just for export purposes. Really.
And
so
for medical purposes as well. Yeah, let's just take a look at that clip.
The use of illicit drugs can cause varying risks to one's health, both physically and psychologically, on a short and long-term basis. While drugs are believed to be common in European countries, Zambia, on the other hand, as innocent as she may look, is actually a home to drugs which has been causing serious problems among young and elderly people. The Drug Enforcement Commission Sunday 19th June 2022, with a tip-off from members of the general public, have raided on some drug dealers who they have been tracking for some time now. According to the Commission Public Relations Officer Matthias Kamanga, 5 people have been arrested, among them a Nigerian national identified as Frank Tidebere for trafficking in cocaine, heroin, and high-grade cannabis.
Been picked up for suspected cocaine, which is weighing more than 1 kilogram, and he's also been found with high-grade cannabis. The high-grade cannabis, this is like a big package that was being put into these small packages. It means that he had more than this, and then he even put them into these small packages that were being sold.
Also arrested in the operation are 2 sisters identified as Cleopatra Tembo and Miriam Tembo, age 42 and 35, for trafficking in 1 kilogram of suspected heroin and 40 grams of suspected cocaine.
The search has led to the seizure of a further 1 kilogram, just over 1 kilogram of suspected heroin, just like the other one that was picked up from the other suspect that was picked up earlier. As you can see, the packaging is the same, and this person was even found with a little scale that they use for them to make sachets, which they are selling to members of the public that are unsuspecting or that are hooked to drugs.
And this beautiful ride, as beautiful as she may look, has been an accomplice in the crime and has equally been confiscated from 2 males identified as Costa Hamamba, age 47 of Mtendere Compound, and Smart Zulu, a male age 42 of Garden Compound, who have also been arrested.
The suspects, we have seized this motor vehicle. As you can see, at the back you have the number plate that is indicated, but when you come and check in front, you find that they've even removed the number plate, which to me shows that probably even the one that is at the back can be removed at any time, and these criminals can be able to attack citizens at will. And these are some of the things that we are seeing in our compounds that are happening.
The Commission has since appealed to members of the general public to keep updating them on any suspected drug dealings and has warned that it will deal with all those who will be found wanting. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Quite interesting there that we have a report done by one of our reporter, Prudence Chota, a very, very quite sad, I must say, where we saw the Drug Enforcement Commission arresting 5 people yesterday, among them a Nigerian national. And, you know, I must say that Zipporah, drugs are very, it poses a very a different danger to our society as well as to one's health. But we have seen the trending, you know, people venturing into doing such businesses. I don't know, it's maybe because they feel that when you venture in such a business, you make a lot of money for a very short period, in a very short period. I don't know, but anyway, this is something that we need to address more, and yeah, I'm glad that the relevant authority were on the ground to ensure that order is put in check.
Yes, definitely. And Miriam, is just here in Zambia where you do drugs, you're arrested. At that time, I think it was last week, I was watching a documentary from, you know, these countries, the USSR, like countries like, I don't know if it's Poland, those countries, Poland, yeah, those. And there, if you actually are found guilty, you're actually executed to death.
Wow.
Death by hanging, because for them they don't just look at, no, this person, so then they're looking at the impact of those drugs on people. So they're saying these drugs that you have would have destroyed the lives of 15,000 people. So you're guilty of the murder of 15,000 people. So we're going to sentence you to death. So that's how serious the issue of drugs is in other countries. And anyway, moving on, we're opening our phone lines to our viewers. Just let us know in any part of Zambia, what issues would you like to actually bring to the attention of the relevant authorities? What issues are happening in your community? So you can call on the numbers that are scrolling on your screen and just give us a call. And Miriam, maybe just begin myself in my community.
Oh, please, please let us know.
In Mtendere, there is a lot of theft.
I remember you once did a story on the junkies where you just had to bring out those aspects of how they are busy harassing and attacking people at night. Yeah, and you have a lot of unfinished buildings in your area where they are hiding from those places. Yeah, just to to execute their criminal activities. Yeah.
It's really bad. So if you forget to lock your gate that day, it is a guarantee. All the time that you forgotten to lock our gate, it has always been a guarantee that the next morning you find this thing stolen. Not even like, no, today, no. It's a must. Just forget to lock your gate. It's a must the next day. I don't know if you have got charms and not, Fajalos want to buy gates and all that. But it's a must every single time you just forget to lock. Just when I'm going to enter.
And a lot of people will tell you that Zipporah, that because of the experience that they have gone through. My family has once gone through such an experience where Zipporah were sleeping in Kamola South, and then by that time I was with my brother in Kamola South, of course. I think we were attacked around somewhere 24:01, somewhere there, after midnight. They broke into the house, got the plasma TV, yes, and other items. I don't know. And
there a grill door or something?
There was a grill door, but we didn't hear anything. I don't know if they used charms and what. The only thing we knew was when we woke up at 05 the next morning, we just found the door open, the TV was gone, and other items. Yeah. So when you talk about issues of thefts and thieves, it's a very quite sad situation, I must say. Yeah.
And that just reminds me of the other time we were actually in Garden Compound, and we were reporting on the murder of a 13-year-old girl. And just there, so on this house, we found that a girl had been murdered. Behind the house, she had been raped and murdered, 13-year-old girl. And just the neighbor's house had a broken window, broken door, they stole the laptop and everything. So this just shows the security situation that we have here in our country.
And when you come to, these shanty compounds, you'll find that in as much as people hear that you're being attacked, you won't come out, especially when it's at night to help you out. You are on your own, Zipporah. You are on your own.
And so the other time I was actually watching a program, and I forgot the name, but it's been quite a while, but there was some policemen. And so they're actually saying, if you're attacked by thieves, don't say, just scream something like, no, my house is burning, and then people will come to your aid. If you just say thief, no one will come.
Of course, no one.
And then people will come, definitely. So the issue of crime and security is something that is actually, it's something that needs a lot of attention in our communities. We have many people, Miriam, I don't know if have junkies formed cooperatives, really. I don't know.
So are you suggesting that we should have junkies form cooperatives?
Yes, we have been told.
Okay, we have a caller, Zipporah. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, yes.
You seem to have lost that call. Kindly call us back and just give your views on the matter. Miriam, I'm asking because there's this place there's this shop near my place. It was actually a grocery store. I don't know if that is even allowed. It was a grocery store just near Mahatma Gandhi School grounds there in Tendere. It was it was a shop whereby it's a grocery store. But one day I just went there. I just found bottles of beer only on the shelves. I'm like, and I'm looking for washing soap. Then no, see grocery anymore. So I was like, and so you find that they've even put benches just outside, and that place is ever filled with youths. And not like normal youths who are just into drinking and all those things.
And these are the youths that we want to be the future of the next generation, the future leaders. I don't know if
that is even allowed really, because I think these are the ones who now go and start breaking into people's houses. And this is just like 5 minutes away from my place.
Maybe we should have respective area councillors, I think, in each and every constituency, bringing together all these youths, putting them together, empowering them with the knowledge, and, empower them again with the funds to start up something, a business, and just move away from such. I know that sometimes changing a human's mind might be very, very hard, but Zipporah, we can start by, giving them some psychological counseling, to help them understand that what they are doing is very bad and there's need for change in the community. Because if they continue in that trajectory, they're destroying their future. Yeah.
Definitely. And we've had many complaints, really, Miriam, whereby most of these youths are saying, no, cooperatives take long. That's why they're not applying. They don't want to be told, no, wait for your profit. They want to be given handouts. They don't want to wait for any profit. That's why they're just going in communities and breaking. But honestly, in my community, which is Mutendere, the issue of theft is a serious thing. It's scary. And really, that's one area where the police actually have to intensify patrols. And in your area, Miriam, what is happening?
Well, not so, but okay. Before I answer that.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Please, can you tell us your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is John. I'm calling from Matero.
Okay, please go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Yes, I want to talk about our LP. Yes, all that we learned of the environment.
Yes, we're listening.
The knowledge of the environment, then the knowledge that between Zambia to Uganda. If this program is down within the next 2 months, then we have a problem during the road season. The compound is pretty cut off from the main road. If you can increase the also advance our LP, because the United States here, somewhere up local.
Is this Mr. Mausampa? Is he the area MP?
Yes.
Any other challenges that you're facing in your community that you need your area MP to address?
Especially the roads are very bad. So the 2 roads between the are very bad. Yeah, but we need the other things already done. We need to support just to probably do some kind of touches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Our newsroom will follow up with that story.
Okay.
And actually, Miriam, our newsroom already has followed up. Actually, I did a story there last week, but I've not yet written it, which I'm going to write on some roads in Lilanda compound. And the other time was actually in Zingalume, whereby the whole road was flooded. This is in June, this June of ours, because the whole area, like about 4 roads that got water burst everywhere. It's like a flood. So already that those problems there.
It's a good concern that he brings out. We soon will be approaching the rain season, and if this problem is not addressed, that's when you hear no. Kuno ba MP manzi kuno titandize nkoni boma kulibema drainages manzi yangena mnyumba. These are things, these are the stories that we'll be covering now. So there's need for the respective area member of parliament, who I know in Matero is Mausampa, to address, to come to the aid of the people in that constituency and look at this issue of the poor road network in the area. Yeah.
And that's one thing, Miriam. Every rain season, we know what's going to happen. People's houses will get flooded, but we just relax and say, oh, December, things sort themselves. Then, same stories. Like maybe even we as the media were reluctant because we want stories. We say, no, this house is flooded. No, that house is flooded. So really, that's
and and the sad part is that we keep on doing the same story.
But
Exactly.
what is done actually the same. So it's like even us were enjoying, like, oh, I'll have a story in December. You even put on your diary, December flooding.
December flooding, yes. You have already marked your calendar because you know, you can predict what story you will have. But this is the time, this is the right and best time to address these concerns, so that when we come the rain season, we don't face challenges. We don't have people now calling us, no, boma iranganepo, ine nyumba yanga, manzi yangena mnyumba, ma beddings, vonse, vina manzi, ma TV ya onongeka. We hear such kind of stories every day.
And that's actually increasing poverty levels, whereby
exactly.
Get damaged,
you have to start again, you know, from scratch, buying those things. Yeah.
And there's that Ngwenya Dam, is it Ngwenya Dam in Mississippi?
Ngwenya Dam.
Ngwenya Dam in Mississippi. And that really concerns me because the last time when the residents were saying during the rain season that water rises and actually merges with houses.
Yes, it does.
So like that is really something else.
And you know, is it 2020? We saw a lot of floods in Mississippi compound where other people were even taken somewhere, were relocated by government to other places just because of a lot of floods in the area. You know, houses were now covered, and then we had people now, of course, as usual, boma iranganepo and what, until government came to their aid. But
I think those people have to be relocated, or the thing has to be fenced off quickly.
Exactly, that's my thing. That thing needs to be fenced off quickly, because not only does it affect when it comes to the flooding situation, but also when it comes to criminal activities in the area. Zipporah, you will, I know you have done a lot of stories in relation to that dam where, you know, someone gets killed and then they're dumped. So it's a danger.
And children can actually drown because that dam is really deep, and imagine if that water is merging with people's houses, that's really a concern.
But they should come up with some means. I don't know, create something maybe for tourist attraction or something. I don't know, something that Zipporah, something that they can come up with. But when you go around that place, you have you see a lot of people, you know, getting, I don't know, getting advantage of the situation. You'll find people washing there, getting water for their what.
And that water is dirty because there are many dead bodies that are found in
but you know, people utilize it for, you know, for other means, household means, washing plates, clothes and stuff. Others even use it for
due
bathing.
To the lack of water
In the area.
Again, that's another issue that is actually in many compounds and townships. So that time I was in Kalikiliki, and there's this small dam there, and we found people with buckets fetching. But this water, you can actually see small parasites moving about in there and all that. The other side, some boys were bathing. Also asking them, what is this water for the lake? No, it's for cooking, but we're going to boil it first and all that. So I asked them, like, but what is the situation? They said, our houses do not have running water. We actually have to go and get water from a water bowser, and for us, it's really far away. So that is really one thing, because I'm sure you know that by 2030, we actually hope to have easy access to clean water and sanitation. But if we have compounds like Kalikiliki and others, which actually have to get water from small dams,
Water compound, Mississippi compound, Chawama compounds, if they have, you know, water problems, it's very, very hard to achieve that goal, Zipporah, by 2030.
Yes, and just a reminder to our viewers, you can call us and tell us whichever part of Zambia you are in. You can call and tell us what issues you feel need attention in your community. And one interesting thing, Miriam, which I found is that we were saying an MP for an area. Okay, what is your view? Should an MP for an area stay in the area, or should they stay in Kablonga, which is Lusaka Central, or representing? Are they able to appreciate the situation of people in the constituencies if they're not living in the constituencies?
In my own opinion, Zipporah, it becomes hard because you won't feel the impact of the day-to-day challenges that people in those areas are facing. So as an area MP, it can be good if you stay in that locality. In my own opinion, because you'll be able to feel the impact and the need to, you know, act on certain matter with agency.
Definitely, that's another issue again when it came to the CDF guidelines, because some councillors were saying you have someone in Chawama making guidelines for Kablonga. Like how? So they're saying that actually the CDF, WDCs and all that, they actually have to be reformed to make sure that each people are just in their constituency. You can't be in Chawama, you make guidelines for Kablonga. Do you know what happens in Kablonga?
That's a total confusion you're bringing anyway. It's confusion, Zipporah. It's confusion. It's confusion, yeah. So right about now, we'll take a short break and we will be right back. Please stay tuned.
On Monday, 20th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Honorable Elvis Nkandu, Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts. Don't miss as they discuss UPND 10 months of being in power.
As government through the ministry, we have demanded for a report from the service provider and we need a refund and underline, because as we are not restive and the payment for expenses suffered.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On TSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Thank you for still staying tuned to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Of course, being a Monday, we always look at the community aspect. And today we are doing things a little bit different. We opened our phone lines at 0730 to now 8 hours, and we're allowing calls from different people all over Lusaka and other constituencies as well as across the country, just to give us on the issues that are trending in your community that needs urgent attention from your area councillors and your respective area member of parliament. So I don't know what is happening in your community. Please do give us a call. What challenges are you facing in Chawama compound? What challenges are you facing in Misisi compound? What challenges are you facing in Kanyama constituency, Dilanda, Matero, that you need your area councillor, you need your MP to look at? Please do give us your call and we will be able to pass through that message, and our newsroom will be able to follow up that piece of information. Yeah.
Definitely. And yesterday, Miriam, we had a story where we saw the mayor of Lusaka actually urging MPs to actually work with their councillors in dealing with many issues in the communities, because we've been hearing complaints from councillors for a really long time, complaining of alleged absentee MPs. So there have been some named MPs anyway, but of course those MPs have been saying, no, I'm not absent. People expect us, for example, in Kawata constituency and actually Kanyama, people have been saying the MPs are absent, as well as Munali. But these MPs have actually been saying people expect us to give them money. That's why they're saying we're absent, but we're actually working on projects. I don't have to be seen for people to know that I'm working. As long as the projects are moving. And
you know, these have been the concerns of people for so many times. You'll find that a certain councillor or MP won't be present to address the things that the residents there are complaining about. But when it comes to during the period,
during voting time,
during voting
they're
time,
not even available to the media. You find somebody
they'll be there every single time, you know, pushing. But once you vote them in, they're nowhere to be seen. And this is the time that you need to hold them accountable, because if you give them that vote, you were very much confident that they will address your needs. So anyway, it's time for them to be answerable. Yeah.
Definitely. And the brush off the media, you go, you ask them, honorable, what's happening in your constituency, when are you going to sort out this and that problem? They'll say, text me. That's on the phone call. You meet that person somewhere at an event. You tell them, no, last time you said I should text you. I texted you, you didn't get back to me. And you're seeing that person, Miriam, I'm not lying, as a journalist I've experienced. You're seeing that person right in front of you and they're saying, text me. So really, what's the forward?
Don't you think we need to address this issue, Zipporah? There's need to address this issue.
Not even call me, but text me as a journalist. You have this MP saying, text me. We are seeing, you call them, they say, text me. Yeah, they are right in front of you, you find them accidentally, they say, text me, meaning what, really?
Zipporah, you know that when you're in the newsroom, you work with time, you work with deadlines. So there's this urgent matter that you need to talk about.
I don't want to publicize it as it is, and they'll say, no, you're being unfair, and know that
you're being malicious, you did not contact me. How can you say, no, the MP did not respond to my question? But anyway, these are the things that we keep on facing each and every time. And just moving forward, Zipporah, a reminder to our area councillor in Matero constituency, we had a caller who just emphasized on the need to look at the road issue, that Zingalume Road and Lilanda. Yeah, he's quite saddened that that road has not been looked upon by the area council, by the area member of parliament that side. So he's afraid that if it is not addressed, Cameron season, things will be waste. So anyway, we hope that the area MP, the respective MP, Mr. Mao Sampai, is watching, and he will be able to look at that issue and address the need of his people in the constituency. Yeah.
And we have among the trending issue, Miriam, the topic of markets. The topic of markets has actually been something that has been trending for a very long time. And so it was 2 days ago when we actually saw, when I actually even got a notification. So we actually have to follow up this story. We had some, of course, street vendors, and saying Lumumba is actually a designated street vending lane. If you are aware, Lumumba and Freedom Way, at certain times, yes. So maybe is it from 16 hours until the night, and so that those are actually designated lanes. And so we have some complaints where, due to the limited space of markets and just trading places in general, where the traders are actually alleging that Kadas actually charges 2,000 kwacha to be allowed to trade here. So per month, they demand that you give them 2,000 kwacha, or else they're going to make sure that you're kicked out, and they have some of the preference. So it's like you're working, they said you're saving up money until it's 2,000 kwacha, then you give a kada. So really, people will depoliticize markets, but this is something that has remained. The issue of kada has always found a way of,
you know, sneaking in, yeah.
So they're now going to the street vendors from the markets, because they know that actually in markets...
Anyways, Zipporah, just hold your thoughts. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, madam.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I just want to contribute on that program, madam.
Okay, please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, you see, when we're talking about councillors, these people, they are just taking privileges. That's why you find that if there will be any force performing leaders who work in society in Zambia, it's councillors. Because there are preoccupation usually concerning some privileges and benefits that they give. And another thing I would like to talk about, the caliber of those WDCs. You know, the societies they choose are those who also seek opportunity. There are people not qualified. So it's high time Zambia tries also to make the power on people who should be found in WDCs. And that is going to make a difference. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. And lastly, And last week, Miriam, we had Chilenja Ward 8 Councillor, Mr. Ruben, when he was actually just talking about WDCs. He was saying we have ward development committees who are actually like handling CDF along with councillors and other local authority representatives on the ground. But they're saying, are we taking CDF seriously? Because we have ward development committees who are actually supposed to see what projects are needed in each ward, get the views of people among other duties. But these people do not even have offices. Because actually saying they just find maybe a classroom somewhere and just 25.7 million. 25.7 million, Miriam. Are you going to be in a classroom to discuss? So that's really something that has to be looked into. And you're saying they're just being given allowances, like just allowances. And so really that's
we have another caller, Zipporah. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please can you tell us your name and where you're calling us from? You're calling us from where? Okay, please go ahead. It's good to know that Chawama is watching.
Supposed to be direct. If they can do some over this high branches and those in place, what that good to that is a lot of taking in this place. So on the left, the first authorities take up them seriously. Make sure that is the direct. We forget about the just issues here because that's where all activities are taking place. If you look at the dam itself, it has become like a mine. Whereby everything from the mountain is shown here. That the dam is not closed up. It's to take it from the river or look at the grader and the criticals to come and do the work here. These problems of having this a lot of stuff here. It will be a nice story over. Thank you so much. That is the reason why I called for the program and following up with keen interest. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you're able to get...
I think he was talking about the dam. We earlier spoke about the Ngwenya Dam, yeah. He was able to say that, no, this dam should be covered, you know. It's not, there's need for relevant authority to urgently look at the matter. Because we have seen for quite some time a lot of lives have been lost due to that dam, and also affecting people who are living close to the dam when it comes to the rain season, floodings and stuff like that. So he just says there's need to cover this dam and relevant authority should urgently look upon the case. Yeah.
And Miriam, so we were saying
earlier you were talking about, yes.
Taking the matter seriously if we're going to discuss CDF in a classroom or under a tree, 25.7 million. Because those are the concerns raised by the council. It's actually spoken about it twice, saying these people, WDCs, have nowhere to meet. And Miriam, I'll say, I'm a witness. The other time I was covering an event, and after the event, there was a meeting by the WDCs. They said they just took advantage of the room which the event holders were actually having and saying, after these councillors should remain with the WDC, we discuss. So really, that's something which is bad.
Yeah, but why can't they just come up with some offices and what? Talking about 25.7 million under a tree, you know, or by the roadside. I think we need to be serious. I think we need to be serious. We have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, madam.
How are you?
I'm there, okay, and how are you?
We are good. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Wilson Chisenga calling you from Luano.
From Luano constituency?
Yes, please.
All right, you can go ahead.
Yeah, what time the Minister for Commerce said you get my name, my number and come back to me, but as you are saying, they don't come back to you.
What was your complaint?
Sorry, no, it's just I have something that I want to say.
Okay.
It was just a CD. You know, me, I'm surprised why every time when something comes up, we follow that one. Look at the CGF. Everyone now has crowded themselves to CGF. And yet we have youth empowerment from the small and medium enterprise. Who is talking about it? We've got money from youth and sport. Who is talking about it? We've got money from green economy and Chani. Who is talking about it and how is this supposed to be gotten? Why is it that everyone has gone to CTF? So, you know, the problem is that CTF, what it could, to me, it could have been left to the lower people. And those guidelines, they were just okay. The only problem is that we like making invisible queues. In Kaunda, we are lining up. This time now, we are got invisible queue. Why did they wait to have 200 applications? Why don't we have at least maybe in a week we have those who are qualified, they work on them. Those who are qualified, that waiting for 200, 300 applicants. Why should it be like that? You know, some of these things, me have been in the informal sector since 1997, and I know how easy this CDF thing is very good. But the problem is that we have got now everyone crowding on CDF. Who is advising you on the SME? Who is advising on this other thing? To me, we could have been said, okay, CDF in the sport. So that at least if we have a threshold, it is a very good thing, that can change in the twinkling of an eye. You know, if we were to say the same CDF, when we come back to the sport, CDF sport, CDF chance, there are not. I would have loved the chance to come there and sit on stage so that at least we talk about a lot of these things. I don't know how I can be one of guests on that stage so that at least we talk about the informal sector, we talk about the small scale, we talk about this. How are they going? How can we develop our country? Zambia can develop in a twinkling of an eye, like I said last time with the Minister of Commerce. But the problem is that we have no system. Kilipe system nakowaitwachita nichipande pande uyuwai aesi yakwe uyuwaesi yakwe. If I were to ask you, how do you get the money from youth and sport? No one is explaining to you.
Yeah, that's so you can call us on sorry. We lost that call, but I think he's got a lot of things to say, and he's actually given me a new idea on why not he's talking about other environment.
Exactly.
So interview someone on that. So I think he can just call us on like privately on those same numbers and just give us his contact so that you can make a program, or maybe just have him film or some people film him so that you can actually air.
Exactly. I like the thing that you brought out. You know, a lot of attention has been shifted now to the CDF, forgetting about youth empowerment, you know, under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the empowerment there. The whole attention has been shifted to CDF now. So everyone is on CDF. That's a very, very good thing that he has, a very good point that he has brought out.
Yes, and the other time was actually, I had an interview with the Minister of Youth, Sports and Arts, and was actually saying the ministry has got 9 other empowerment programs. Then I'm like, how come we don't know about them? No, saying they've got 9 empowerment programs and everyone just knows about CDF. So really, and of course the other kind of empowerment is why you're actually delivering goods and services to the ministry. I'm like, I don't even know about that.
And you know, that tells you that there's need for more sensitization. Yeah. There's need for government to engage people, for people to know about these empowerments. Of course, you cannot have the whole entire country now talking about CDF, shifting the whole attention now to CDF. What about the other empowerment funds? Who is benefiting? These are the things that now leads to corruption and abuse of public funds because people do not know about it. And alleging that some who might be in those public office will take advantage, and utilize the funds. Yeah.
And yes, the other thing the Minister of Youth and Sports was talking about is he was saying they actually need to decentralize the Ministry of Youth and Sports by building offices in every province to decentralize, so that at least when you want information on these empowerment programs, you can actually go there, because really the attention has been here in Lusaka, and so what about other
Clouded,
people? Elsewhere? And one other thing which I found interesting in my interview with Miriam, on the story which I did yesterday, actually, he was actually warning people who are not youths to stay away from youth empowerment programs. He was saying the ministry has seen a lot of people above 85, because youth is from 18 to 35.
Yeah.
They say no, we're representatives of the youth.
And you, especially when it comes to political members, you will find someone who is 45. That is the youth chairman and youth watch anyway. It's a story for another day.
I've noticed that as well.
Yeah.
Someone is above 45, but they'll say
youth group.
Yes.
No.
This and that, but
no, you're not.
Space to the youth, and that is from 18 to 35 years. Let's give space to the youth. If you're above 36, you're no longer a youth. If you're above 35, you're no longer a youth, and that is sad, but it is the truth. Definitely.
Anyway, we have a caller, Zipporah. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm Chipenga Wilson Park. I wouldn't mind if you called me Mr. Kokwe.
Okay.
Yes, so I was telling you, it's just a centralization is you. Let's use the CTF as a centralization. If I quarter system, WDC, it is supposed to identify the map project. I have to use the sport. If it is to get but the straight forward the year,
we'll definitely invite you.
Let's involve the real people on the ground who are feeling it Zambia has to develop. These people who are so-called educated, they are not educated, they are schooled, they are failed at. Let's go back to people background in Zambia to develop. Let's be like China. Okay, good day.
Thank you very much for that contribution. And Miriam, I think we're getting ready to go into our next segment, where we'll be joined by the Small Scale Farmers Development Agency, SAFADA Director, Mr. Boyd Mobile, talking about the increased floor price maize. What does it mean for the consumer? What does it mean for the farmer? So before we preempt, we're going to hear from him, who is expert, and we're just going to take a short break now. Do join us on the other side, and thank you for the calls. Please keep them coming in. And in our next topic, we're also going to be talking about the cost of living. Do indicators show that the cost of living will reduce anytime soon? What should be done? Let's take a short break. Join us shortly after this break.
On Monday, 20th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Honorable Elvis Nkandu, Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts. Don't miss as they discuss UPND 10 months of being in power.
As government through the ministry, we have demanded for a report from the service provider, and we need a refund and underline, because as we are not restive, and the payment for expenses suffered.
Invite others to participate through phoning, on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On TSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Add value to their products. Then what does the floor price mean? Because there have been many speculations. Does it mean maybe the price of So welcome back to our viewers. Please keep the calls coming today. It has been a very interesting segment because we've had a lot of views coming from all over the country, just telling us what issues you actually feel can be worked on. And I feel, Miriam, we should actually be doing this every day so that we have a lot of developmental issues actually addressed. And right now we have been joined by a SAFADA director, Mr. Boyd Moboy, who's just going to help us understand what the floor price of maize, which was announced on 16th June 2022, actually means for the consumer and for the farmer. Does it mean the prices of maize will go up? Because there have been a lot of speculation. So good morning, Mr. Moboy. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, viewers.
We are glad to have you on the show.
Please, thank you so much.
Especially that you're coming from 6 months. 6 months.
Yeah, somewhere there.
So it's, this is really a commitment to be here, and it shows your passion that you have for the farmers.
Yeah.
Yes. And just to get us started, we're actually going to play the actual story on the floor price of maize, which was done by Messi Chanika on 16th June 2022 to get us into the interview. Let's take a look at that story.
The Food Reserve Agency has Thursday, 16th June 2022, announced an increase in the purchase of some crops like maize from 150 kwacha in 2021 to 160 kwacha in the 2022 crop marketing season. Reacting to this development, some stakeholders have echoed different sentiments on the matter, with the opposition political party, leadership movement, media director Tatila saying that the increment is a mockery to farmers who are expecting the president to do more, considering that he too is a farmer and understands the challenges that most farmers face. Mr. Tatila says the 160 kwacha increment on maize is not sustainable, especially that not all farmers are on FISP program.
To express our disappointment following the announcement of Food Reserve Agents on the price of white maize and soybeans. First and foremost, we expected a better price and a fair price from the Food Reserve Agents so that our farmers, our small-scale farmers, feel empowered.
Meanwhile, the Millers Association President Andrew Chintala has described the increment as fair, saying that it will boost the local production of maize in the country, adding that if properly utilized, this may contribute to the reduction of meal prices in the country, a commodity which is currently expensive on the market.
I think our quick reaction to that is that the price that FRA has announced is quite a fairly good price for our millers, for our farmers, considering that I think there's been an outcry in terms of the cost of production of maize in the country as a result of the high cost of inputs going into maize production. Obviously, this is a good price, not only to the farmers but also to the consumers. You are aware that the millers have been buying maize for 4,000 kwacha a metric ton, which translates to about 200 kwacha in 50 kilogram bag of maize. Now the price has dropped to 160. Clearly that is an indication that we expect to see a downward trend.
The The Food Reserve Agency had Thursday announced an increase in the purchasing price of some crops from 150 kwacha to 160 kwacha per 50 kg bag of white maize. Soybeans will be selling at 550 kwacha from 500 that was in 2021, and paddy rice will be selling at 200 kwacha from 195 previously.
The agency intends to purchase 3 commodities as follows. White maize, at least 170,000 metric tons. B, soybean, 1,500 metric tons. C, paddy rice, 1,000 metric tons. The agency shall operate 600 satellite depots in all districts. We shall operate 600 satellite depots in all our districts. Farmers shall be paid through designated banks upon presentation of appropriate documentation. I think we do have some money. We are hoping that immediately we start buying the food reserve agency will pay farmers.
Messi Chonika reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
There you have it, quite different views coming out there from the farming, the price in the maize flour. So, welcome to the interview once again. Just help us understand. You know, there have been a lot of different views from people saying with this adjustment, the milli meal price may go up and stuff like that. Just help us understand.
What does this mean?
What does this mean?
For the consumer and for the farmer.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. The issue of price, meal price, has it with a lot of factors alluding to high price of the same commodity. It doesn't actually necessarily mean that, well, if there's an increase in maize production, then the price will come down, or maybe if there's less production of maize, the price will go up. There are a lot of factors that are considered when a price of meal is being set. So we cannot conclude to say the FRA price which has been offered to farmers will really affect the consumers, yeah, but it will affect the farmers because looking at what they have invested in agriculture in the previous farming season, fertilizers inputs are quite expensive. You know, the input cost is quite high, and giving a farmer at that price, I think, is a mockery. Then we are not really helping the farmers. Just a 10 kwacha per 50 kg, I think is unrealistic. And if people speculate or think that this increment, 10 kwacha increment, will affect the meal price, I think they are just being unfair. Yeah, because farmers are really toiling and farmers are really working hard to produce the commodity that is required on the market. Yeah.
So what is causing maybe the cost of production to be so high? Because we have to actually strive to ensure that the cost of production is low to make sure that the minimum price is kept within an affordable range.
Well, there are two issues there. First and foremost, let's talk about the farmers. You know, for farmers to do better or to increase their productivity, their production, we have to consider the input cost, of course. You know, there is issue of fertilizer, commonly known as the major ingredient in the production of maize. There's transport issue, there's empty bags, there's weeding. There are a lot of things that needs to be considered when we are trying to come up with a price for the farmers. Yeah, so basically, probably, roughly for argument's sake, nowadays, if a farmer wants to produce, we want to invest in an hectare, he will need about 8 to 11,000 kwacha. Okay. Now, if that's the total cost of 1 hectare, and then during the marketing season, when a farmer is selling his maize, is given at 150, 160. When he's only able to produce 2 tons per hectare, it's already automatically zero. Yeah, he's getting nothing. So there are a lot of issues that needs to be considered. I'm happy. At one time, I had some conversation with one of these government institutions. We were trying to ask why, farmers are not able to produce at a commercial rate, more than 2 tons per hectare. So, we concluded to say that there are a lot of factors that we need to consider.
But is it due to the increase of fuel? Does it mean this has maybe affected the same prices due to transportation?
Well, it doesn't. Of course, at this time we can talk about fuel, but the increment of fertilizer has been an issue of a yearly issue that has been taking place. Even when the fuel is at a normal rate, there are no increments. But we find that the fertilizer industry is increasing the price. So we should not actually conclude to say the fertilizer is going up because of fuel. But there are a lot of factors that they also consider. Each sector, the farmers, the traders, they consider a few things that they think they should include in their budget, and then analyze the budget properly in order to see a good profit. So the same with the farmers, but the only disadvantage is for our farmers. They don't reach at that stage to see how much am I spending and how much am I going to get. That's the only advantage, and vulnerable based on that. The traders or other stakeholders take advantage of that. So that's why we find that our people in the forefront, like for instance the FRA, come up with such a price because we don't have bargaining power. We don't have the capacity to convince the planners who are planning price for the commodity to say, no, this is not okay for us. They have to decide on our behalf. You see, so in short, you find that the market force determine the price. And it doesn't matter whether the demand is high or is low, but when it comes to pricing, it depends on the market forces.
I like the fact that you let me change to get back my words, but you actually said the price is a mockery to farmers. So how do you think our farmers will be able to afford procuring the inputs during the coming next farming season?
Well, initially before the announcement as a father, we thought probably the price of maize would be at 200 kwacha per 50 kg. That will roughly maybe help the farmer to accumulate some income, profit, and also return, meet the expense. You see, 200 was better. And I read somewhere, I'm not very sure about that, but I read somewhere that FRA was trying to look at that price and beyond. But I'm just surprised how they came down to 160. So if it was 200 kwacha, I think that was much better, and farmers were going to be happy and praise the European.
But will that affect now the consumer? When it comes to
in
the
fact,
price of millimil?
If we take it from the point of discussion in this politics, I'm sure the government was coming out very clear to say, no, we are going to put up measures to ensure that the milk price comes down. You see, so I knew for sure that the person to suffer is the farmer. You see, and this is what is happening now. The government cannot suppress the traders. They cannot convince them to say, no, let's put the price down because of A, B, C, D. They have got a strong voice. They can talk about it and then come to an agreement with the government. But for the farmer, it's difficult because especially small-scale farmers, they are not able to export. They cannot export, okay? They are not like commercial farmers who can hold their maize and find market somewhere else. But our local farmers depend on the government, they depend on the local traders. So whatever comes out from the traders and the FRA, the farmers will take it up and they'll do it well complaining, you see. But this trend, I think, will not improve the farmers, where we want to try to make the consumers happy, so that they don't suffer. Because the consumers are, the population of consumers is larger than probably small-scale farmers, you see. Yeah, if we go politically, consumers start complaining, that means we already are losing a vote. Yeah, so that's why they're trying by all means to stabilize the price, the meal price. But both parties, the consumer and the farmer, can address this issue very well if they come to some terms to understand how best they can do business. For instance, farmers can diversify. Yeah, they can diversify, grow other crops like soybeans, cashew nuts. There are other crops that are being exported to farmers. Yeah, and they also look at the better markets. Yeah, if they can organize themselves and see how they can export. I'm happy. It was yesterday in the evening after some discussion with you based on this program. A farmer from Mulundas was calling me to say, no, me, I've got soybeans. I want to export to Tanzania, you see. But he is fearing because of some conditions, terms and conditions. How is he going to do it? You see. So if the market price and marketing system is put in a situation where everyone is able to export, I think we won't have a problem of complaining on the price, because if the price is low in Zambia, I can take it to Zimbabwe, I can take it to somewhere else. But farmers cannot do that. They have to go through maybe the traders.
We have heard rumors that people have actually begun smuggling to briefcase buyers. Maybe could it be due to the price?
Well, I don't understand when you say smuggling within, because
out of the country.
Out of the country.
And all that.
Yeah, that could be the issue. If traders can come to a farmer to say, okay, I'll give you 180, okay, the farmer will sell at 180, and then that trader will make sure that he sells his product out of Zambia at a good price, maybe 200 kwacha or somewhere there. You see, that's why there is these issues of smuggling, because there is no proper pricing policy. How to price the commodity in Zambia, how to make the market happy. You see, anyone, especially a lot of restrictions here and there on the pricing factor. So it requires technocrats to look into this, the planners and technocrats. How do they harmonize production and marketing in Zambia?
I'll have to have you call me.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning. Hello. Yes, kindly tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and your contribution.
Your line is not very clear.
Are you able to get us? We can get you.
No, your line is very bad.
You can go back. You can go ahead. We can hear you.
But I also want to hear you.
You hear us once you're done with your comment.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
May God bless you.
Amen.
Yes, my suggestion is that the government should use those predators. If this should be made to the government. Are you with me? Because when I went to Northwestern Province, I saw a bright line, which is that line also. He said it is good in seasonal and also irrigation to plant maize for Zambians. Because yes, I understand the farmers are not making money, And you know, if it is very, very expensive, Zambians cannot eat the FEMA. No, we are just eating FEMA. The man on the planet who advised the presidency to engage in euthanasia, even with those who are roaming the streets, to start investing very drastic place of the place, so that it is meeting she might keep the plaza. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. So, Mr. Mugwe, I think here our caller is basing on the promises by the current administration that Milimi will actually be below 50 kwacha. And of course, we've heard sentiment saying the current government should use prisoners to farm on some land which is just lying idle. Like we can use irrigation, whereby even in May or any time we can actually farm. So maybe your response to the caller, and even as you respond, do projections show that we're actually going to achieve 50 kwacha? Or maybe below 50 kwacha for a 25 kg bag by 2026? Do those indicators show that?
Is there a possibility in future? Is there a possibility in future of having,
like we're going there. So you can respond to the caller and that question as well.
Well, I think to be realistic, I don't think it's possible to drop down the price of Miu from whatever it is now to 50 kwacha.
In the next, is it 4 years now?
Well, it is quite evolving. Because, you know, like I mentioned, the price of a commodity is based on other factors, you know, transport, labor, and so on and so on. You know, things are changing nearly every day. So the only solution here is to increase production. Yeah, if you have got increased maize production, increased soya production, I'm sure even when the manufacturers or companies that produce products like Miu decide to put a price, there will be that rate of this. I mean, trying to reduce the price because of how much they buy it from the farmer, like what is happening now. You know, the meal price may not raise from 150 to whichever price, because government is trying to press the farmers down to sell the maize at 150 so that they maintain the price. Yeah, but I want to base my arguments on the other comment the last caller made, where she's saying the problem in Zambia was depending on one foodstuff, which is maize. Yes, and that's why maize cannot increase. The price of maize cannot increase because politically we are looking at how the consumers or the population in Zambia can be fed. Because if the staple food goes high, the price of staple food goes high, I think everyone will suffer. Even the farmer himself will suffer. You can sell whatever, especially those maybe who want to be able to produce enough maize, and they need to buy meal. They will buy at an expensive price. So somehow the government is trying to balance, although on the side of the farmer is quite unfair because of the cost of production, which is so high. Yeah, so she's trying to come out like saying it's better we try to change our lifestyle. You know, we should not just take maize.
But we've been hearing that, Mr. Mobe. Have we seen any policy direction pointing to us making that a reality? We hear many stakeholders saying diversify, but are we seeing this, for example, in the FISIP? Are we seeing maybe a diversification of seeds apart from maize?
Given the fact that the country is very reliant on the narrow range of crop, which is maize.
No, it hasn't been so effective. They've been talking about it.
What do we need to do?
Yeah, it's just a question of effectiveness. You know, the government policy must be strong and focused to ensure that the farmers really diversify. And it's a question of technical and financial support. You know, you cannot tell the farmers to diversify without any financial support or technical assistance. Already, like, you know, I'm always on the radio receiving some comments here and there. Some farmers are complaining over cassava. There are some pests that destroy cassava. The government is trying to advise farmers to diversify, grow crops like cassava. But when a farmer grows cassava, during harvest time, the product is being affected. You see, so it requires a lot of some kind of interaction, dialogue and interaction between the farmer and the technocrats.
Just hold your thought. We have a caller. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
We are fine. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is David Mwanga, Choma.
It's good to know that Choma is watching. Please go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Yes, okay, just over here, that is 150. Is it 150 or 160?
It's
160. It's 160.
I heard that it is the man who's talking there saying 150 instead of 160. It is 160.
160.
Yeah. 150.
It's 160.
Secondly, I'm a farmer, and I paid 400 kwacha and I was given it by a bucks. So I think I truly appreciate with the government the efforts they are doing, the government are doing to ask farmers because at least this time we have packs of fertilizer, and I think at least we are boosted. So I think on the price of milling meal, I think if the price of milling is going to be revised somehow, because it cannot just be revised on hard farmers without their millers. We are all fighting for the same economy. After here, we are fighting for the economy. It's not that somebody is fighting for a farmer only. No. When somebody is fighting for a farmer, he's also fighting for those who want to buy a desk. So for us, for me here, in terms of my contribution, I think it's fair and it's going towards the good economy. I thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Your response, Mr. Mugwe?
Yeah.
Caller from Choma.
From Choma, thank you for that comment. This is what is affecting the market price. Yeah, because of these subsidies. Farmers are being assisted to buy the commodity at 400 kwacha. Yeah, and for sure I don't expect the government to increase the maize price because they're assisting the farmer to buy. Compare if you go into the shops, you buy fertilizer at 1,000 kwacha, and here comes the government. You just pay 400, and then the balance is paid by government. You see, so automatically government will stand to say no. It's better we also help the consumers. We should not raise the market price, especially the food reserve agents should not buy the maize at that price more than what they expect, you see. So, but the question is, how about those who are buying using their own money, going to the shops where they find their fertilizer or the inputs at a higher price? You see, so meaning that they are being affected, they are not really getting their profits.
Oh, we have another caller, Mr. Mugwe. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, kindly tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and you can give your contribution.
This is Reverend Mandela calling you from within the this morning to progressive news. I hope that the guest.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you very much. The topic of discussion that you have done is anticipated high cost of living. And this type of assistance of market price. And this is related to measure. But then from the announcement that was made from the chairman of FAA, he did clarify that the 160 kwacha is not a floor price. So I think it's important that we follow through that public announcement that was made by the chair that that is not a floor price. And also I think it's key into the fact that the price that the FRA has come up with is for the FRA as a food reserve agency. Therefore, we need to say that the farmers are at liberty to sell their maize to whoever the field is given the price that they desire. I think that should be
brought out the issue of the Congo market and so on, but then there was the impact that, there are those procedures that the Indian farmers have to go through with the Ministry of Agriculture for them to be given some kind of leeway for them to sell their products. So they're not like, it's not really free for the farmers to just transact because they just use. I don't know whether it's this organization that uses the farmers for them to be given some kind of organization. But however, just within the country, and I think elsewhere, I think there are still opportunities for the farmers to be able to sell their produce, at a different price other than the 150 prices that has been offered by the FRA. I very much do appreciate and I think about the concerns that have been raised by the farmers, that there is a lot of cost that goes into the production of producing the maize. That is undisputed, and I don't dispute that fact. But I think that it is also important that we have a mindset from this dependency on the food that I think for our local farmers as the only, buyer of the produce. I think that we should be able to explore the private sector and other buyers that we want to buy this maize, because obviously maize is a very precious commodity, both for us as indigenous people, because this is our source of food, and that is why the demand of maize is very high. And we know that it is also the demand within our region here. And so this is why we know there's been politics around the issues of maize. But I think maybe we can put it back on the fact that, the issue of us completely diversifying from maize, we should be able to appreciate the fact that I think almost all countries across the world, they have their own sort of food. We find that in other parts of the world, one is the sort of food for people in those parts of the world. And so I think this issue of indigenous, our better food for a particular country or region and so on, I think it's a well-known fact. So we should be able to appreciate that fact. But I think one other thing that government needs to do is to have a system that is organized. I think the agriculture sector for a long time has not been organized. So there is need for systems to be put in place where you have an organized system. I think for me that's the key word there, an organized system. So that even if you have, the change of administration, but when you have an organized system, you are able to build on what the other administration may have done or left. So that, there are not these major authority shift to the agriculture sector, because that has the resources, and in turn, you have the challenges of pricing and so on. And you also have, on the other hand, the consumers who are the citizens that see that the prices that you have, it depends them on this very essential product, which is the staple food. So for me, I think that the part of government, I wish to call upon the government to just have an organized system so that, these issues and concerns are properly managed, both in terms of the cost that goes into the production, vis-a-vis the selling or buying price of the commodity. Thank you so very much about the president.
Thank you, Reverend Manduli.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
So you can respond to that call, Mr. Mogo, and because of going towards conclusion, I'll even pose the last question, even as you respond, whereby we have seen farmers, they spend a lot of money to actually get their maize harvested, produced, and all that. But then do they have proper storage mechanisms to ensure that maybe this maize does not go to waste? Because we've seen many farmers complaining that they're actually forced to sell their maize off at a very cheap price because they don't have where to store it.
Let me respond in short in the last caller, where he's saying the market is quite open and farmers can sell anywhere they wish to sell their maize in order to see how they get their profits. Yes, that is being said and encouraged to farmers, but there are a lot of issues around crop marketing. yeah, where farmers fail to be failing to do what is supposed to be done. They're not able to sell their maize at their own price, because there are a lot of stakeholders involved that are interested in that same commodity. Then, yes, we agree that FRA price is not a floor price. We agree on that one, but you know, naturally, should I say, what we have observed is that FRA price determines the price, national price. You find that these traders who are buying other mirrors and so on will buy, of course, at a price, previous price at 150. But the new maize, they want to buy it at 150. They'll say, no, we are waiting for FRA. You see, so there must be a way how this FRA comes out to make a price. Yeah, so I think that is my short response to the last caller. And coming to the issue of storage, I remember at one time, it should be 15 years ago, somewhere there was an organization under, is it AU? Yeah, I'm sure AU. They were trying to train farmers on how they can come up with on the farm storage, so that they're able to store their maize and keep it safe for a good price. And they really invested, but you go in the village now and see what is happening. There's nothing. They still go back to the traditional way of keeping maize. And moreover, the traditional way is also phasing out because of these empty grain bags, which has become so common. Farmers will harvest and put their maize in bags. Of course, on that kind of storage facility, the farmers is at risk to lose because he is not able to fumigate, because probably he thinks maybe in the near future he can sell. Yeah, so you know, government is always trying to think how they can help farmers. I'm sure you understand, you know that there is an act of parliament. They introduced what they call ZAMAS, Zambia Marketing, and something to do with marketing, where a farmer can deposit his maize in that storage facility under ZAMAS, and is given a receipt. So he can wait for a good price, whilst his commodity is under security with ZAMAS. But if he wants to get fertilizer, want to buy fertilizer, or he want to get a loan, he can use that same receipt to go to the bank and get a loan. But all those kind of facilities are not well utilized, you see. So that's why I'm saying there are a lot of issues involved around this small-scale farming, marketing, and agriculture sector, which needs to be really addressed properly. There are a lot of answers, and our researchers and experts, the technocrats, they have got a lot of answers and solutions on their tables. But it's a question of how do we implement those solutions, you know? Yeah, and how do we make sure that the farmers also change their mindset? I think we have said that several times. Farmers should change their mindset. Failure to that, to do that, I tell you, will be complaining day in, day out, that the price is not good, no, this and that, because we are not able to change. We are not able to use other facilities. Yeah. Then the other caller who called before this last caller, he was talking about irrigation. You know, that's another option where maybe we can see how our farmers enjoy farming. Yeah, because I've heard some farmers saying fresh maize is better than dry maize, you know, selling maize which is grown during the rain season. When you harvest, then you take it to the market, the price is quite low. So if you grow fresh maize, then you'll be able to get a good profit, you see. So they're not able to grow at a larger hectare because they don't have irrigation facilities, you see. And moreover, there are a lot of activities that are trying to come in place to help the farmer, to help the consumer. But it's like it are not so effective because of a number of factors which needs to be addressed by government. The technocrats have to do research. Why is this put in place? It's not effective, it's not helping, the impact is negative. Why is it like that? You see, all those kind of issues must be considered so that we reach to an extent where probably we are able to address issues affecting agriculture, especially small-scale farmers.
As we come to the conclusion of our program, do you feel this suggested price would discourage farmers to cultivate maize in the future?
According to what we hear from the farmers, according to our observation, I think this will discourage farmers. Yeah, of course. If the government can also try to look at the input price, try to control the input price, I think farmers won't complain. You know, like what was said before this time, that the price will come at 240 kwacha or 250 kwacha. Farmers were going to be smiling, and they will know that, okay, I can buy 5 bags in 1,000 kwacha, and then I'll be able to produce, and then I can sell at 160 per bag. You see, so the question here, or the advice here, probably an appeal to government, is that they should also look at the input part of it, talk to the miller, to the suppliers, fertilizer suppliers. Probably, like we have just heard, the government is trying to source a cheaper source of fertilizer. Let them find those sources and help the farmers to get a cheaper source of fertilizer, so that we are able to produce a cheaper produce that will go on the market to enhance, to see that there is a good price for consumer price for a meal. And then the other thing is, you know, we have to empower farmers with what they need on the farm. I heard someone talking about identifying farmers or projects or activities that can be funded by CDF. So let the government try to identify and help the farmers to improve in agriculture.
Yes, unfortunately, it's time up for us. It's now 9 hours. We have had a very interesting segment. And earlier, we had various calls from viewers just telling us what has been happening in the community. So thank you very much, Mr. Mubwe.
Thank you
for coming. I'm sure you've enlightened us and just explained to us, and I'm sure government and other stakeholders out there have heard. Miriam?
Of course, unfortunately, this is where we come to the end of our morning breakfast show. In case you did not catch this show, we do stream live on Facebook. Please go to our Facebook page, like our page, and you'll be able to follow what we had this morning. Tomorrow, it's bye-bye on the same time.